What's going on, everyone? So this topic is going to be about Concord, Sony's arrogance, and once again, why the gaming world does not want anything to do with ugly, horrendous character models and DEI invasion. I can't say how many times, over and over and over again, that everything the DEI touches, the woke nonsense touches, dies in the gaming industry and just in general. Star Wars Acolyte, the launch of Star Wars Outlaws today or yesterday already tanked down to 10,000 views on Twitch. That is absolutely horrendous. My recent video, I just did something about that. Now we're looking at Concord fell. We saw Suicide Squad fell. We saw Flintlock Siege Dawn fell. All the games that Sweet Baby Inc. Touched. We saw Dustborn recently from Quantic Dream or whatever fell, and I liked Heavy Rain. I like those guys. Detroit wasn't too bad either. Everything DEI is dying. How did Star Wars tank that bad? We're talking about one of the biggest franchises in the world. Sony's a huge publisher as well too. This game is going to have to go free to play. That's the only remedy. And for the people that have bought the game, they should give them some microtransactions currency to make up for that. Anything DEI detected just goes into the ground and dies. It just does not succeed. Assassin's Creed is getting hit hard too. The pre-orders are terrible. Everything that is DEI focused just dies. It does not succeed. And it doesn't even come close. It's just like horrible. This is right here that tells you about DEI. That's gonna go down to fail. Gotham Knights, that died. You know what I mean? That didn't do well. We just look at some of these games. Forspoken, that was horrendous. It's bad, man. All right, so let's dive into this video and see what Smash JT has to say. He's been on fire lately. I like this guy. He's cool. He does the right thing, exposing these losers. And yeah, like I said, he's been on fire.
Just when you thought the numbers for Concord's launch couldn't get any worse, we get some information leaking the PlayStation sales stats. And it's not pretty. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. And shout out to Guru Larry Bundy Jr., who posted on Twitter information about players who have obtained the easiest trophy to get in the game. AKA, getting a kill will get you this trophy. And we can put two and two together and assume that most people who bought the game got a kill. And that amounts to around 1,200 people or so. Yikes.
That makes sense because it's easy to just log into a game and get a kill. So everybody that played the game is at least going to get that trophy. You can get an estimate on metrics with that. By the way, y'all like to subscribe, y'all like this type of content. I'll be doing this for years to go. And I have amazing games around the corner, even the new Nintendo console. I'll be doing that day one, all types of content, streaming on Twitch and on YouTube. But yeah, that's a good metric. And like I said, on Steam, today it had like 100 and something people playing. That is horrible. Free to play is the only option.
Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out SmashJT.com for the full article breaking down the downfall of Concord. And now, up to this point, we haven't really explored PlayStation's numbers because they keep all that information private. But what isn't private are the PlayStation trophies. And putting some simple math together, we can assume that most people that are obtaining the easiest trophy of getting someone killed is equaling here or there about how many people have played the game. I guess you could say it's a low estimate, but honestly, it's not too far off. There is some serious, disastrous news hitting Concord right now. If you thought the game was struggling before, you have no idea just how bad it's gotten. Let's quickly break down the disaster of the launch up to this point. Now, as of recording this video, I'm taking this screenshot here, there are currently 109 people playing on Steam.
And nobody is streaming it on Twitch. It's dead in the water. It's not working. I don't care who you are. It just doesn't work. You know? That's what I love about Nintendo. They deny all this crap and they stay organic. They don't sell out. Sony's been infected by Western poison for a very long time. And people shouldn't be blind to that. Even if you like PlayStation, you need to speak the truth and realize this is not making the brand look good. A lot of people that got the PlayStation 5 hoped for amazing next gen iteration. Like this is going to be next gen, all right? It doesn't feel like that. It just feels disappointing so far. Jim Ryan made a terrible mistake of mass forcing people onto gas and to the free to play model. And then they got Bungie to help them out to give them, you know, insights on who the green light. But guess what? They've been invaded with DEI. Another thing, they fell down. You see, everything that it touches, it just dies. It's terrible.
Worldwide, everywhere. A massively big AAA title from Sony and Firewalk Studios that supposedly spent upwards of, some rumors are putting it around 150 to, I've seen even $200 million to put this game together. And on Steam, we have just over 100 people playing it, not even 2 weeks after launch. Larry Bundy Jr. on Twitter posted, "Here you go, the number of people who have obtained the easiest trophy in Concord on PlayStation 5. Get a kill in the game." And then he qualifies it saying, well, a huge majority of the players could be bad, so they've never got a single kill in the game, but what are the chances? And then he thanks Billy Smith. And looking at the PlayStation Network Profiles website, it says that at this point, based off of their information, there are 1,258 game owners, 941 recent players, 26% average completion, and 18,710 trophies earned. But looking at the actual tangible information to give us a good idea of the real players of this game and how many people have actually purchased it, turned it on, put it in, and played the game, we have 1,220 people as of right now getting the first takedown trophy, getting your first kill. Now that's just some quick simple math based off of who we see playing and how many numbers are out there. But now information is coming from industry insiders and supposed industry analysts that are stating that Concord has sold around 25,000 copies on all platforms, which, okay, I guess I could maybe see that on like the most perfect of situations. But even looking at that number, based off of what I know and what I've seen, it seems like a very high, generous estimate. To break that down, that's guessing around 10,000 people on Steam and around 15,000 people for PlayStation, for a game that Sony hyped up and poured upwards of $150 to $200 million into. And let's be honest, even those numbers.
And like the models, this is what I'm saying with these people that are doing DEI art. Like, are you mentally deranged? What is wrong with your brain? Nobody wants these ugly ass characters. They're just horrendous looking. Art and appearance. There's some people that if they don't like the look of a game, that they might even ignore it straight up. It could be a good game. Art matters. Appearance matters. Beauty matters. Aestheticism matters. The shape, the form, the personality, all that type of stuff matters. People like to decorate their characters today and then or get skins for them, and like everything in this game is just presented just ugly. Who's making this game? Like, who's drawing these art characters? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
Might be generous. If only 1,220 players on PlayStation have gotten the first kill trophy, the actual number of people playing is probably way lower than that. No wonder players are reporting to be stuck in the waiting room, waiting for matches upwards of 8 minutes or more each time in between a match, which, to be honest, is pretty unacceptable. When you're playing an online hero shooter game, you don't want to just log in and just wait 8 to 12 to 15 minutes in between matches. That's embarrassing. That cannot happen. So embarrassing to the point that I tweeted the other day saying that I wouldn't be surprised if Firewalk Studios had the order from Sony to start building AI bots and putting that into the game, just like they had with Perfect Dark on the N64, where you could play local co-op with some AI together so you didn't have to have 4 buddies in the room and you could still play a multiplayer match. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they end up doing with Concord, and that would be extremely embarrassing in this era of online gaming. Skeletron.
Yeah, but they're already in an embarrassing situation, so yeah, that's a smart remedy. Add in AI and add in free to play. Some people like playing with AI. But yeah, I mean, that is the remedy now. What is the other solution? What, let the game die? Lose all that money? Or go free to play? Get some better artists in that seat? Form the models, redesign the models, say remastered models, you know what I mean? Present them to be more attractive, have newer models around the corner, and make skins more presentable. If you don't do that to me, then you're just a moron. Or you got your money, you don't give a damn, and you just want to ruin gamers' experience. Though there's not a lot of people playing this to begin with, so whose experience are you ruining? Most of the gamers are just saying this. I'm not buying that ugly pile of crap. There's so many better options today. Free to play, I don't have to move. We're not in a older world where you had to go to GameStop and trade this in because it terribly disappointed you. No, you can download so many free to play games and gotcha games right in front of you. It's not even funny. Or just buy other games. Or, with all these different services, you got a PlayStation Now service, kind of like Game Pass service, Steam, you know what I mean, Ubisoft Plus, so that's not all that. EA, just all these different services and free games right in front of you, even mobile games. This could just be easily ignored.
Cronus said, they could fill the games with bots if only they hadn't pushed all the competent programmers that write AI out of the company with DIE stupidity. Every name in these credits is an unhirable liability to future projects. I've been saying for months now that Sony should have launched Concord as a free-to-play game, or
Yes.
at very least, have it included with the PlayStation Plus. And you know what? That might be the only way to salvage this sinking ship. But it's going to piss off a ton of people. Well, not a ton. A handful of people that already purchased the game already. Imagine spending $40 for this game just to find out a couple weeks later that Sony's like, oh, by the way, it's free now. While it wouldn't be the first time a game company had done that,
Give them some currency in the game, like I said, for free. And know the people who bought it. It's not that hard.
to its customers, Battleborn comes to mind. It is something that I talked about previously on how Sony should have seen the writing on the wall before they started charging money for it in the first place. There have been companies that have come and gone in the past that have made the same mistake, and people that know what goes on in the game industry and how it works and understands the competition would not make this mistake. I can't think of another game in recent years, or maybe even in gaming history, that crashed and burned quite as badly as Concord. And nobody's really surprised about it, or at least they shouldn't be. If you know anything about gaming in the industry leading up to this launch and me covering it, I was saying this was writing on the wall. It's going to flop hard.
The moment I seen it, I knew it was going to fail. I don't need I don't need any of this. I've been doing this for years, and I'm like 97% accuracy on like anything I do. I just haven't been on the camera for years. I should have never stopped on Twitch back then, but even then, I'm the same way. Like some people say, I got genius level when it comes to like predicting things, and calling it. Been in the industry since 1994, basically almost since the beginning when gaming was actually good. Not the Atari days, obviously, but I started with NES at 4 years old. I mean, I've seen it from there all the way to now, and I've beaten thousands of games. I know a good game when I see one, and I know a failure when I see one. Big time.
There was nothing that could save it. And even Firewalk Studios, all the way up to launch, was pretending, la la la, hands in your ears, just walking forward and blinders on, this is going to be fine. And the reality hit them so hard in the face that they are still reeling right now. Tom Warren said, I don't think Concord isn't selling because of the $40 price point or weak marketing. It's pretty simple. It's not a good game, so nobody is buying it. Sea of Thieves is also $40 on PlayStation, but has reportedly sold over 1 million copies because it's matured into a great game. Where I would argue Sea of Thieves offered something a little bit different in a landscape of free-to-play games in hero shooters that Concord is competing with. It's not exactly an apples-to-apples comparison, and even if you are to say it is, I've seen plenty of reviews out there promoting Concord, giving it at least a 7 out of 10, if not higher, where many are praising many of the game's aspects, saying, we don't get why people aren't playing it. So where does Concord go from here? I mean, besides the trash barrel, I don't see a way that this is salvageable. Like, sure, they could make it free on PSN first and then eventually make it free for everyone, but ultimately, there are other games out there that are well more established and honestly just better games overall that people prefer to play, never mind the weird design choices that they made in the characters and the pronouns, and obviously the agenda-pushing propaganda that the developers had, the professor that wanted to make sure that everyone couldn't identify what gender these people were because this is the type of person that was making this game.
Mental disorder. What is there to be confused about? I can go grab a male dog and cut his balls off. He's still a male. You can't change the spirit context. You don't have that power. The way you were made is the way you were made.
It's not that surprising that this was the result. And as Yanu said on Twitter, all that money sacrificed to the altar of DEI. What a disgrace. And I couldn't have said it better myself. It feels like all they're doing is taking this money from investors and lighting it on fire, chasing the latest trends from 8 years ago, thinking that it's the golden goose that, oh, you just make a hero shooter and you just make all this money, and that's how it works. There's no heart, there's no effort, there's no passion, there's no reason for the game to exist except trying to chase money. We could debate for years on if it's because Concord's a bad game or if it's because they decided to charge $40 for it, but the reality is the whole point of where it all began was how do we make the most money off of gamers? What's hot right now? What's a trendy genre of gaming? Oh, hero shooters. Activision Blizzard is making this Overwatch game and it seems to be getting all the rage. We should just copy that basically one for one, and then just make these weirdo characters the protagonists of it
Yeah.
and make it our own game from that. Instead of having an actual passion and desire for something new to bring to the video game industry. Having the game be born out of the love of an idea that you have, that you want to see grow and prosper, is always going to succeed better than just a quick corporate cash grab. And ultimately, that's why it failed. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information,
Yep, good job, bro. Pretty much. Failed, imitated, soulless, DEI filth. What is the result? Over and over and over and over. How many games we've seen? DEI detected, DEI infected, which should be called all down into the underworld, crashed into hell. Garbage. All right, y'all, like, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Comment. You know, Sony fans, hang in there. And people who wanted a good game, I'm sorry. Y'all should have seen it. All right, y'all. Peace out.